Hello and welcome back, listeners. We are Discount Discourse with your host, Sharmalyne.
And me, Reuben. So we had a minor technical hitch this morning. We got in the studio full of positive energy.
I literally came an hour early
for unrelated reasons, so don't try to one-up me here. We came to the studio bubbly, full of energy, only to realise that the song list, the track list, which we had thought we had uploaded,
painstakingly put together over the course of many, many weeks,
many a moon, had not successfully uploaded. So we're going to be freestyling a bit today. We've got some of the songs that we intended to play.
Yeah, and we have got our trusty Google Doc with all our anecdotes all up and ready. So we will be trying to find ways to intersplice our show with them.
So as always, there'll be some chat, there'll be some laughter, there'll be some tears of joy, and there'll be amazing music here on Burn FM. So first song is one of the ones we did actually intend to play. This is The Proclaimers, I'm Gonna Be 500 Miles. That was Paper Planes by MIA, a song which we accidentally played in sequence. We were going to stop for some chatter after 500 miles, because I was going to come in with a quip. I was going to say, well, listeners, we would walk 500 miles and 500 more to bring you Discount Discourse here on Burn FM. But I only got to say that anyway, so it's all right.
Well, congratulations. Yeah, so like we mentioned at the beginning, we did have a slight hitch with the music, but our theme for today will still be public transport, one way or another. We'll find a way to mix that in.
One way or another, we're going to find it. We're going to get you.
What are you saying?
The song.
Oh, the One Direction. No, that's not. It was a Blondie song covered by One Direction.
Covered by One Direction, yeah.
Yeah. But if you don't already, follow us on Instagram at Discount Discourse. And we do have a question Instagram poll box thing up there. So do send us in any random stuff you want us to talk about. We've had one suggestion in already about Aldi shopping lines, which you can talk about later. Yeah. So that was Paper Planes by MIA.
On the topic of planes and airports,
I was
going to tell you the story of the first flight and the first and only time I've ever flown in a plane, obviously not by my own accord.
So for any listeners who may have missed earlier, we do, in our previous shows, we've mentioned that we keep a Google Docs of random anecdotes of things that we want to bring up on the show.
Yeah. So I think I've cryptically entitled this one Walkman story.
Yes, first flight Walkman.
That was because this must have been when I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I really wanted a smartphone because, it was getting to that kind of era. So my mum got me, it was a Walkman smartphone. Do you remember Walkman?
Isn't Walkman in Guardians of the Galaxy?
It's like MP3 players.
Basically, so me and my iPod Shuffle, we're best friends for life. Since the year of 2012, I've had my iPod Shuffle Generation 4 in purple. But basically, after Guardians of the Galaxy 3 came out, I got really into digital music.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking of investing in the latest iPod. Well, by latest, I mean they haven't come out for 10 years or whatever, but the latest version of the iPod, because I wanted a screen. I was tired of not having a screen.
Yeah.
And then I looked into other options that were cheaper, because an iPod is 200 quid still, even though it's 20 years old.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, yeah.
Extortion.
Exactly, Cosy Livy. Anyway, I looked into Walkmans, and then I went down a whole rabbit hole. Apparently they were really bad, and then people actually hated Walkmans.
Well, anyway, I loved my Walkman, my precious Walkman smartphone. It didn't have a SIM in it, so I couldn't call or text.
So it was just an iPod Touch, but for Walkmen.
Walkman.
Yeah.
I was a Walkman, yeah. I was a walking man. Anyway, first flight, we were going to the Isle of Guernsey. So this was us, me, my mum, and our family friends. And my mum, I think, made me put the phone in her bag because she didn't trust that I would take care of it, which is fair enough. Get on the plane, sit down. I'm a bit nervous. This is the first time I've ever flown. I don't know what to
Wait,
expect.
how old were you?
About 8 or 9.
Your first plane was when you were 8.
First and only time I've ever flown.
You're joking.
No, how many times have you flown?
Every single year since age, like, since the age of 1.5, I've been on a plane every year except during COVID.
For what reason?
We go to France, like, every year. Yeah, like, there's photos of me in France.
Well, there are no photos of me in France because I've never been to France.
Literally okay, you readers can't see it. Readers, listeners, anyways. But I have photos of me in said location.
Unfortunately, this is not a visual medium, so we can't show the list. You can put them on the official @discount discourse.
Yeah, I'll
Instagram.
post them on the Instagram story to the whole world.
Anyway,
that was me in my first holiday.
If you're listening, Sharm is now showing me a picture of her on her first holiday. She's in a backwards pink cap. What a wonderful holiday picture, a treasured memory for the family.
Yeah,
France.
I was such a fashion icon, and I still am today. Anyway, sorry for interrupting.
So, first flight. Anyway, sit down. Everything is well. I'm shaky. I'm nervous, but that's to be expected. And then the thing comes up on the flight, the announcement that tells you to switch your phones off. Reminds you to switch your phones off. Which at this point I do. In the cartoons when someone is scared and they do that kind of gulp, that kind of. I
gulping on a plane.
I did that because I thought, hang on a minute. My mum wasn't sitting on the same row as me.
Yeah.
I thought, hang on, my phone's in her bag. If I get up now, everyone's going to know I'm the guy who didn't turn his phone off. I thought this was of vital.
Yeah. You
deathly
thought the phones are going to make the plane explode.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought, because I didn't realise, because it's to do with the signals, isn't it? The radio signals and
GPS
stuff.
or whatever.
But it doesn't.
Does stuff to
it doesn't actually matter that much. But I thought this was of utmost importance.
Yeah.
I sat and I was thinking, oh God, this is going to be the death of us all. I've got lives on my hands here. I've got blood on my hands. And then I sort of stewed on it for a bit, and I thought, okay, we'll just let the plane take off. We'll see what happens. Everything will be fine. Then my friend's mum turned to me and said, oh, did you turn your phone off? And I was like, no. And then she just said, oh. And I turned around, I was thinking, what is wrong with you, woman? I have doomed us all, this airline disaster, and all you can say is, oh. Because obviously she knew, it didn't matter
Yeah.
whatsoever. But I turned around, I was like, this woman doesn't know what's about to hit her. I've sent an entire plane of people into an early grave, and I'm responsible. I can't do anything about it. And then
Did you start crying?
I didn't start crying. The only thing I cry at is the Simpsons movie, okay? The scene where Marge leaves the emotional tape for Homer Simpson always elicits tears. That's the only thing I cry at. But the plane obviously took off. It was fine. As far as I'm aware, all lives on that flight were preserved. We got to Guernsey, and I got my phone, my Walkman out of my mum's bag, and the screen had cracked in her bag.
Oh, that makes it even better.
So that was the end.
Because imagine if you had gotten up to turn your phone off, you would have been able to save your precious Walkman.
Yeah, but I didn't. It's life. That was the only life lost on that flight. My precious, precious Walkman. But I got, a few years later, my first proper phone, I believe, was an iPhone 4S. I want to say.
Oh yeah, that's argued to be one of the best iPhones ever manufactured.
It was a nice, reliable phone until I tried to play Pokemon Go in London on my iPhone 4S.
Oh yeah, that
and
would have blown up.
It blew up. It didn't physically blow up, but it just bricked.
Did you ever go to the MI5 base? Because basically they made the MI5 base a Pokemon gym, and then people started hanging out around it and discovered where it was. Because somehow the Pokemon Go people had gotten this map which had all these secret government based locations on it that people weren't supposed to know about.
That is funny.
Yeah.
I didn't happen to go to the MI5 base. Do you remember MI High?
Yeah, I remember MI High.
Great show.
I was a very what's the word? Not
An-
voracious.
An avid fan.
Avid fan, yeah.
Not a voracious
I
fan.
don't even know what voracious.
A voracious is like you'd say you had like a voracious appetite. Like if you're like eating
I hungered for my high. I was, yeah.
And on that bombshell, we're going to move on to Night Bus by, how do you say?
I'm gonna guess it's Gabrielle Aplin.
Okay, well, that is the track coming up. Have a listen. You'll love it. Enjoy.
And that was Night Bus by Gabrielle Aplin. I'm hoping we're pronouncing her name correctly. So I've got an anecdote about this story, basically. So it requires a bit of, not exactly context. Shout out to Ellie. If you're listening at home, you would know what I'm about to say.
Can I piggyback off your shout out and say shout out to my nan who is also listening?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to your nan.
Yeah.
I'm laughing in I'm surprised.
You were
my
laughing
nan
at my grandmother.
No, I promise. I bet your nan is a lovely person.
She is.
Like, my nan...
Runs in the family, thank you.
Okay.
Being a lovely person.
Yeah, because like my nan, she knows how to... We taught her how to use WhatsApp during COVID. And then she learned... And then she sort of knows how to... She knows how to view text. She doesn't know how to text people on it. On her phone. I mean, it doesn't help that the keyboard's English and she can't write in English, but whatever.
My nan's still working on the TV remote.
Oh no, my gran is an aficionado in the TV remote, because when she used to live with us, all day, every day, TV.
All right, if you're listening, Nan, then you've got competition. So get on mastering that TV remote. Next time you accidentally put the audio description on, then I would like to see you figure it out on your own. I'll be there for guidance and support, but I'm going to be step back and be in more of a mentoring role this time. So I hope you're prepared. Right, sorry, your story.
Oh my god,
your Night Bus story.
My story. No, this is kind of embarrassing. Basically, so some of you listeners might know this, basically. So I was really into this show called Supernatural. Your grimace. It's like, ew. You literally gave me like a look of disgust. Anyway, so I used to be into this show called Supernatural, and so it's major spoilers, but like my favourite character basically dies in the last episode, and then the worst thing was that the last episode was released on my birthday. So like the last episode of this TV show releases on my birthday. I'm watching it in my house, and then me, my brother, and my nan are watching it, and she came for my birthday party, and my favourite character dies, and I'm just gobsmacked. Anyways.
Tragic.
Yeah, and then as a fan of this show, I would watch like Instagram edits or whatever. And then, so one day, like many weeks or even months after my birthday and this episode where my favourite character dies, I'm just listening to my music on my iPod Shuffle, walking to school, la-di-da-di-da. And then, do you know what song comes on? This song. And basically, this song, the song we just played, Night Bus, it was like, the reason I found out about the song was from an edit.
Yeah.
So it was a Supernatural edit that I'd watched, and I liked the...
So all of the memories came flooding back to you.
Kind of. Basically. So I was like, I discovered that song from the edit, and then that's how I added it to my playlist. So I'm walking to school, and then this song comes on, and then like I'm getting like, it's like, you know when you hear about like your life ending and you have like a flashback.
What? You hear about your life ending? I rarely hear about my own life ending. What kind of life are you living where do people just approach you in the street and remind you of your mortality?
I mean, like, when people are like, oh, your life will flash before your eyes.
Oh, kind of, yeah, okay, yeah.
Basically, that happened, but instead of my life, it was just like episodes of the show.
Supernatural.
And then it was so overwhelming. Like, I literally could not see. I was walking, and then like suddenly my eyes were like filled with
like black and white images
of the show, and then I suffered a heart attack.
You did not suffer a heart attack.
I did. I bet it was a heart attack, because my heart literally, like, it felt like it was ripped out of my chest, and I was just there.
That is
hyperventilating.
That's heartbreak. We've all felt heartbreak.
I was hyperventilating on the pavement. And I had to stop for a good 10 minutes, and then I was late to school, I got to school, and then my friends were like, "Why were you late to school?" And I had to tell them that I'd suffered a heart attack.
You did not suffer a heart attack. You did not suffer a heart attack. You suffered heartbreak. Thank you.
I suffered a heart attack on the way to school.
You suffered an attack of heartbreak.
AKA a heart attack.
Okay.
Yeah, I know what I felt that day.
Semantics.
But yeah.
Terminology. Speaking of buses, can I tell you a bus-related story?
Is it getting the bus in Oxford and being accosted by school children?
Yeah, that is precisely what happened. So we've lost a bit of the element of surprise with the story now.
Well, you should have picked a better title in the anecdote section.
Yeah, so this was last year. My ex-girlfriend, I used to go, well, she was my girlfriend at the time. I didn't go to visit my ex-girlfriend at the time in Oxford and just sort of bang on her door for the weekend. She was my girlfriend at the time. I went to visit her. I'd get the train down every weekend. And I'd get to the station, then I would get the bus to and from her flat. So one weekend I'd stayed over for the Sunday night, got up on the Monday morning. So I had to get the early bus, got on the bus, big double-decker bus, a double-decker bus.
That could have gone wrong very quickly.
A double-decker bus, and it's full of school children. And I go up to the top deck, and it is full of school children as well. And it's like school children at like the worst age, you know, like year 8, year 9.
Oh,
like
that's horrible.
Worst.
I was like, I burnt all the photos of me in year 8.
I found a seat, I sat down, and it's just like a cacophony of like TikToks. So I put my headphones on, my bulky headphones. Have you seen my white headphones?
Yeah.
They're big, bulky, they're like not far off of these radio headphones, which we're wearing, which are, they add extra inches to your height. So
Which you desperately need.
Anyway,
joking.
remarks there.
I'm joking.
Cutting
I'm
jabs.
joking. I'm joking.
I'm a short king, thank you very much. I'm 5... rounded up, I'm 6 foot.
That's not short, though. I feel short is 5'5".
Yeah. Short. I'm 5'11 and a half.
That's
which,
tall. I mean, I thought there was only 10 inches in a foot for the longest time.
No, it's 12 inches. So,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, so rounded up, that is 6 foot. So I'm 6 foot. Anyway, I digress. I sit down on this bus, get to my stop. I'm listening to my music. I'm having a great time. The school kids are doing their school kid stuff. I'm loving it. Then gets to my stop. Lo and behold, it's the same stop that all of these other school children are getting off at. And the thing about buses, right, is that they're very juddery.
Yeah, they can be.
They can be very juddery. They move a lot, especially if you are on the top deck, where there's more centrifugal motion, whatever. You're juddering more.
I get what you mean.
On the top. I stand up, and as we've already established, I'm not short. I'm not tall, but I'm not short. But I've got these big bulky headphones on that are adding, an extra, say, an inch to my height. I get up, and immediately my head just starts repeatedly banging against the roof of the bus. And I start walking, and I physically cannot prevent my head from, so I'm walking, and it's just dong, 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 dong. I've got my headphones on, and I can hear the school kids behind me, either because they think I can't hear them because I've got the headphones on, or they're just at that evil age where they don't care at all. They're all laughing to themselves. I hear some kid going, "Oh my God, can you see that guy keep hitting his head on the roof of the bus?" And they're laughing it up, and I'm grimacing. I'm just walking along, dung, 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 hit my head on the bus. And that is the most humiliated I have felt in ages. I detest school children, which is why I'm never going to become a teacher.
I want to be a teacher.
Why?
Well, you said those, you were like, ew, why?
Tell me why.
No, well, it's part of my 6-step plan to success. So after I've left uni and then lived out my life as a famous individual,
yeah.
I'm gonna.
So what timeline are we talking? So you've lived out your life as a famous individual,
and then I retire at 40.
You retire at 40,
and then I become a school teacher.
At 40.
At 40.
At what point did you get your teaching qualifications? Was that?
When I'm 40.
Oh, just speed run it when you're 40. I didn't know if it was going to be like a Snoop Dogg situation where you got so famous that you started just going off into like all these little like side hustles. You know, like he does like,
Oh, yeah.
he's always doing like cooking
cooking
and bizarre
and
stuff now. Like, I didn't know if you were so famous that someone had like made a TV show about you getting a teaching qualification or something. Okay, so
Yeah.
age 40, you've got your teaching qualification.
I got my teaching qualification.
What step of the 6-step plan is this? What step are we on?
Oh, I mean, it's not really 6 steps. It's more like 3 steps. Like, graduate uni, live a full, exciting life, and retire at 40. Then become a teacher, and then impart all my amazing, wild escapades onto the youths of not our generation, of that generation.
Of the next generation.
Yeah.
So they too can grow up and become famous individuals.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure you'd be a great teacher. You would be a great teacher, actually. I would not be a great teacher.
We had this discussion yesterday about becoming, like, children's TV show presenters.
Yeah, we had this discussion. I think I would make a good children's TV host. And we were saying, not like CBBC toddler age, but like sort of...
You mean not CBBC's toddler age?
Yeah, that's the one, sorry. Not CBBC's age, but CBBC age, you know, like going on to like 13 kind of up.
13? I mean, to be fair, I was watching CBBC.
I was watching CBBC. I still watch CBBC. But I don't think I would be a good teacher, unlike you, who I don't think would be a good children's TV show host. But you would be a good teacher.
Why do you think you'd like terrorize all the children on CBBS?
I terrorize them. I tell you why.
Get, like, you know the segments where they like announce people's birthdays. It'll be like, "Happy birthday, this person." Oh, this is a really bad picture they've sent in or something like that.
Yeah, it'd be like Christmas, and they'd all send in Christmas cards, and it'd be like, "Oh, Santa." I still remember when I thought he was real. Oh, sorry, and I'd like, ruin.
I know.
Thousands of children.
Ruin thousands of children.
Yeah, because they'd stop believing in Santa. They'd have their dreams crushed. But I think I wouldn't be a good teacher because I wouldn't have the patience. You would have the patience, I think. You could command a class. I could not command a class. At the first hurdle, I would just give up and leave. Right, should we move on to the next song?
Yeah, let's see what other songs we've got.
So the next song coming up is nothing to do with our theme of public transport. This is the point in the show where it kind of veers off because of our technical mix-up this morning. So we just sort of like we tried to think of songs on the spot and then just like add them. So I'm introducing a new segment actually, which is what I like to call song that I like. In this special segment, I play a song that I like.
Or like just you.
Yeah, song that I enjoy. We're still workshopping the name. And this is Don't Bring Me Down by the Electric Light Orchestra. That was our brand new innovative segment, Song That Reuben Likes. And I would just like to give a shout out to our good friend and listener, Toru, who I've just learned is an enormous ELO fan like me. So that's really put me in good spirits. You know, it was a bit of a damper having to sit here in the studio with you this morning.
What? Dampener? Oh, right, that's the greatest compliment
But then I've learned that,
Thank
and
you.
then my mood has gone right up. Okay, so shall we move on to the official...
Yeah, we were halfway through... Well, we're not halfway through the show. We're like...
The two-thirds of the way
Two-thirds of the way through the show. And like always, we put a poll up on Sunday at the beginning of the week related to the topic. So this week's poll was to just like say what your favourite mode of transport was. And then some people have given reasons why.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we won't say names.
Yeah, we'll have to anonymously...
Yeah. But like...
You know who you are.
You know who you are, yeah. Okay, the first one has put train emoji.
Yeah.
The second one has put trains when they work are goated.
That is the thing. If I had to chime in, I think train would be my choice of public transport, but they are unreliable.
See, I love buses because buses are cheap, and especially when you're from London, they're free until the age of 18.
That's true. See, because Northampton doesn't have because I guess the good thing with London is it has good public transport infrastructure, as one of our other listeners has pointed out.
I mean, Well, it depends where you're from, because I mean, in my end of London, the buses, there's this one, like, the bus I have to take comes every half an hour, and if you miss it, that's sort of it. So it really does depend, and I've only got one train station in my area. So we're not all as privileged to have a tube line right outside our window.
But I feel like as a rule of thumb...
As an overall, yeah.
London, I mean, it's not the world's greatest, like, public transport, but... Anywhere else in the UK.
It's quite close.
Yeah.
It's quite close. So, yeah, we've got another listener said, it's got to be the train. Europe does it better, but if we actually invested in our infrastructure, it'd be excellent.
Again, infrastructure, that's the thing. That's the word of the day.
Infrastructure.
And we have our last suggestion, the only non-train suggestion, tram, which is a good shout.
I've never been on a tram.
I've never been on a tram either. They have a tram line in the city centre, don't they?
Yeah,
Here.
and I've been nearly run over by the tram, but I've never been on a tram.
How do you nearly get run over by a tram? It's the most slow-moving thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, but, like, I'm not thinking. I'm, like, because once I, like, tripped on the, like, because you know how the tram lines, they, like, go sort of, it just indents in the floor?
Yeah.
So then I tripped. It was just like slowly pacing towards me. But yeah, okay, so yeah, my suggestion is bus. I like buses.
Yeah, I'm going to go with train. I mean, I'll be using a train later, and depending on how reliable it is, my opinions may be subject
Well,
to
you
change.
think if you, like, gas up trains right now, it will, like...
This is me...
instilling karma.
This is
You're
me
like...
instilling karma. The British Transport Police. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm hoping that the transport gods ensure me a safe, secure journey. See it, say it, sorted. As the slogan.
Whenever I hear that on the tubes, I think of this one TikTok where this girl was like that she actually had to use the see it, say it, sorted. Like the first instance I'd ever seen of someone actually using it.
Wow.
She was like, "Oh, I got on this tube, and then there was a box, and then no one was sitting next to the box, and it was really suspicious." So she went and got like the police people, and she was like, "I actually got to use. I seed it, I saved it, and I sorted it.
Seed it, saved it, sorted it."
Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah.
Did it turn out like the box was something like?
Well, I mean, it was just a TikTok, and she didn't stay long enough to find out. She just reported the box, and she was like, "I got to use it."
Oh.
Yeah.
That is disappointing. I would love to know what was in the box. But who knows? Maybe this anonymous TikTok creator will upload a follow-up one day.
Maybe.
Okay, next song. The track list is being a bit whimsical again. It's being a bit quirky. So the next song is Stuck in the Middle with You by Steelers Wheel. Have a listen, have a laugh, have a great time. Enjoy.
So that was...
Stuck in the Middle with You by Steelers Wheel. Now, you had a story you wanted to share, I believe.
Yeah, okay. So this story happened, it happened this summer. And, okay, I won't reveal what I've got written down in my anecdotes, because that kind of...
Yeah, you're gonna have to use your words carefully here.
Okay. Basically, so... This is in relation to this is more something that happened to my mum, and then she just repeated the mistake.
Yeah.
Again. Basically, so my mum went to France this year with my nan.
As we've established, the trips to France are plentiful.
Yeah, every year. And, basically, so my family, we like to just, like... My family likes to bring our, like... I don't know, I think we've just got very specific tastes. So, like, my mum will always, like, bring coffee with her. Like, she always packed, like, coffee and tea bags and, like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then sugar. Basically, my mum, instead of putting, like, sachets or sachets or whatever of sugar...
Sachets.
Okay, sachets. I didn't know how to say it. Sachets of, like, sugar that you get at, like, Costa or whatever. She decided she was going to fill, like, you know, like, the mini Tupperwares that are, like, for, like, dips or whatever you get on, like, a Chinese takeaway. She filled that up with sugar. And then she put that sugar pot in a bag, in like a clear Ziploc bag.
I think I see where this is going.
So, she turned up to the airport, and then you have to... Of course, it is the United Kingdom we are in, so there are extensive checks at the airport.
Yeah.
She got to the airport, and she thought everything was, like, fine and dandy. Bags got scanned, and then lo and behold, her bag gets seized. She's like, what the hell have I put in my bag? Have I put, like, a charger or whatever instead of, like, taking it out or something?
Yeah.
Then she goes to, like, the bit where they, like, check you and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh, we found this, like...
Suspicious package.
It's suspicious, like, white powder in your bag. Like, what is this? My mum is like, oh, it's just sugar for my, like, cups of tea and coffee. And then, like, obviously they have to, like, take it out. And then they have to do a, like, intensive, like, swabbing and stuff, like, bags.
Oh, I see. I didn't know if you were going to say the guy just sort of, like, stuck his finger in and then licked it. And
No, but the thing is, okay, so they did that intensive swabbing thing. And then what they did, to prove it was sugar, they made my mum do that. So my mum had to, like, lick her finger and then, like...
That's funny. I thought you were going to say, to prove that it was sugar, they made your mum, like, make a cup of tea with it.
No. But then, and then after that, like, so the reason my mum and my nan went to France then was because, like, me and my brother were on school and uni still. And then so when we were on holiday, me, my dad, and my brother, we all went back to France. And then my mum proceeded to do the exact same thing, even though she knows that, like, she was going to get, like, she got checked by, like, border control, that she was, like, not carrying, like, illegal narcotics or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she proceeded to do the exact same
But
thing.
she gets stopped again.
But then, yeah, she puts it in my dad's bag, and then my dad got stopped instead.
Did she intentionally put it in the
I don't want to point fingers. I don't want to point the blame, but that was quite suspicious.
That's funny.
That was my sugar Coke mix-up. Brackets, not PG, question mark.
Set your dad up. That's
Yeah.
funny. I'm gonna whiz through this because we have less than 10 minutes left. But there was another public transport related anecdote that I wanted to tell. This is taxis, because I used to use taxis very frequently at home because my mum does not drive. So if I had to go anywhere far and I didn't want to use the bus, I would get a taxi. And this is another story of before I was lonely and single, back when I was of an evening. It was quite late, so the buses weren't running, and I was going on, like, an impromptu trip to see my girlfriend at the time, right? Got the taxi, got in, sat down. The driver says to me, "You've got a lovely head of hair." I said, "Thank you." He said, "Where are you off to?" I said, "I'm just going to see my girlfriend." And he said, "She's a very lucky girl. You're an attractive guy. You've got a lovely head of hair. I bet she loves your hair." I'm like, "Thank you." Yeah. Silence in the taxi for a few seconds. He says, "I'm not gay, by the way." I said, "Yeah, no." Silence again. And then we're sort of sitting there. We're driving.
Did you sit at the front of the taxi?
No, I sat in the back seat.
Okay.
He looks at me in the rearview mirror and says, "I've got two sons your age. Neither of them talk to me. They only come to me when they want money." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then he said, My wife left me 10 years ago. We were married at 17. It was an arranged marriage." I was speechless at this point because I did not know what to say. I was like, I'm sorry to hear that." Silence again in the taxi. He says, "You're a good-looking guy." And I didn't know what to say at this point because he's paid a compliment to me twice.
Yeah.
I haven't complimented him, but I don't know how to respond to the stories. So I said, "Oh, you too," because he was like, I think he said he was 40. He was a good-looking guy for 40.
What, like a deal?
He was a good-looking guy for 40.
Okay.
And then neither of us spoke for the rest of the taxi journey.
Oh my god, that's, like, kind of weird. You
Yeah.
could have been, like, trafficked or something. Okay, probably not.
I think it was just a man who...
Was down on his luck.
Down on his luck. We had, it was two strangers meet, they have an intimate experience together, and then they go their separate ways. And if he's out there, I hope he's doing well. I hope he's found a new love in his life, but there's not been arranged prior. I hope he's doing well.
Oh,
right.
Bless him. Okay, should we do the next song then?
The next song, Broccoli.
Oh, no. Oh. Okay, yeah, basically. So this is like this is one of the songs we put on as like because of our like playlist malfunction. And I was like, so I thought we were initially, the songs we had to add had to be transport related that were just on the system.
Whereas
before Reuben suggested just his own music or whatever.
Yeah. I was not suggesting, I was introducing a new feature to the show,
Okay, fine.
Song That Reuben Likes,
Fine.
which has been a very successful feature as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Because we got like listener fan mail like, oh, I love ELO. So
Okay. Yeah.
continue.
So then I was like scrolling through my liked songs, my like over 800, 900 liked songs on Spotify, and I was like, oh my god, Little Yachty, a yacht is a form of transport. Let me just see what Little Yachty songs they have on. And then they had Broccoli on, and this is like, a lot of listeners probably won't have heard this. This is quite a like throwback song. So like, I remember listening to
Out
this.
of left field.
Yeah, I remember listening to this literally like in year 7, year 8 on my like Vodafone phone.
Yeah.
As in like Vodafone used to make phones.
Yeah, I remember. Do you remember Orange?
Yeah, I remember Orange. They still have that.
The-
Orange is just 3, and Orange is the version of 3 in Europe.
You've blown my mind. We're probably not going to have time to do another segment after this one, because by the time the song finishes, it will be 12 on the dot. So we should probably say our goodbyes.
Okay.
now.
Adios, fellow listeners.
That was so weak. You can do so much better.
Okay,
than that.
thanks. Okay, thanks for listening, everyone. We have got a few songs queued up.
Yeah, so you might hear, depending on who comes in next, you might hear a few more. There's Life is a Highway from
yes.
Cars in there. So if
And
you're
then,
lucky, you
yeah.
might hear that.
So do stick around, do continue listening to Burn FM to hear Life is a Highway and then Pretty Young Thing by MJ himself.
Yeah.
But like, if there isn't any time after, then that is a bye from me.
And a goodbye from me. Have yourselves a blessed day. And have yourselves a blessed day. And
You sound like a youth pastor.
maybe that's what I'm doing now.
Maybe that's your calling in life.
Maybe that's
youth pastor.
my calling. Yeah. So have a listen to Broccoli. Enjoy it. And we will see you, not next week, but we'll see you. We won't see you.
Oh yeah,
we don't know what you look like.
We've got an
This is
exam
audio.
next week. Shout out to fellow comp sci student.